Hi, I'm James Hill from Brook Independent and author of the Loxley Property blog, and today I'm going to be covering the impending changes to minimum energy efficiency standards here in England and Wales. So let's get going. Okay, so to truly understand the changes that are impending on the lettings industry, we just need to revisit the existing legislation, which came in on the 1st of October 2007, and it stipulated that every property sold, let or built in England and Wales had to have an energy performance certificate. Now, this is the coloured bar graph that you see on kitchen appliances that you buy nowadays, which shows how energy efficient these products are going to be. Well, this works in the same way on properties. A domestic energy assessor would visit your property and assess it for its energy efficiency, giving it a rating between A and G, and also making any improvements that could be made to the property to improve that rating. Okay, so there was a small update to the legislation on the 1st of April 2016, which meant that any tenant could approach their landlord for any improvements to the property, and that landlord couldn't unreasonably refuse the improvements that have been suggested. Okay, so what are the changes coming into play? Well, from the 1st of April this year, 2018, any domestic property being rented out in England or Wales must have a minimum EPC rating of E or higher. Meaning if your rating is an F or a G, improvements must be made to that property in order for it to be rented out. Now, this applies to any new tenancies, any renewal of existing tenancies, and also any tenancies that move from a fixed term tenancy onto a statutory periodic tenancy. So a further update will be coming in 2 years' time. From the 1st of April 2020, this legislation will apply to all tenancies. So all your existing tenancies will have to have an EPC rating of E or higher. Okay, so if your property does fall into an F or a G category, there may be an exemption available if you meet certain criteria. These are dealt with on a case-by-case basis. So for more information, just drop me a line at james.hill@brooklettings.co.uk. So what about Fareham Borough Council as a whole? Well, in this area there's 4,645 privately rented properties. And out of those, 100 of them fall into an F rating on an EPC and 32 fall into a G rating. Now this equates to 2.84%, or roughly 1 in 35 properties fall into those categories. So as you can see, it's not a massive problem in this area due to the age and quality of the properties, but you do still need to get those EPCs out and have a check on your ratings. So what can you do if your EPC rating is in the danger category of F or G? Well, a good starting point is to get a new EPC drawn up. The reason for this is in 2012 the EPC engine was improved and the way that energy efficiency was calculated was improved also. So get a new EPC carried out by a domestic energy assessor, and then you can find out whether or not your EPC rating has naturally improved through that process. So if after a further EPC the property still falls into an F or G category, don't panic, there's small adjustments that can be made relatively inexpensively. First place to start, 25% of all heat lost through a property is through the roof. Therefore, adequate loft insulation is a big improvement. Typically, the recommended level is 300mm. Now, 35% of heat lost in a property is through the walls. So again, it's worth finding out whether or not you've got cavity walls and whether or not they could be insulated. Okay, so what can you be doing now to prepare for the legislation coming into play? Well, firstly, dig out your old EPC. Firstly, check if it's valid. We are past that 10-year threshold now for them being in force. But if it falls into then the category of F or G, you do need to be proactive and get on the phone to a domestic energy assessor. Care of myself if you want. I can organise that for you and get a new assessment carried out. So that's your first starting point. If you want any further information on the legislation changes, please give me a call on 01489 570011. And for more articles about the local property market, please visit the Loxley Property blog at www.loxleypropertyblog.co.uk. I'll see you soon.